What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family without further ado. Let's get into the video.
Let's get it. They always look like they got the good weather.
Hello and welcome. My name is Nafkot Gabayo. I'm a photographer. And we are here in Addis Ababa, the capital city of Ethiopia. Addis Ababa is called the political capital of Africa because it is home to the African Union. It is a modern city with bustling streets and a rich nightlife.
Indica
Addis
culture.
Ababa means new flower. And here we have the beautiful Bole Medhanelem Church. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church is one of the oldest Christian bodies in the world, and it has influenced the visual culture of Addis. As a photographer, my friends and I are the new generation of artists. We're embracing technology while still paying homage to the more traditional artists who have gone before us. Now I'm going to show you some of the talented artists here in Addis. Let's go. Coming up in this episode of DW's Artsy Africa, we meet painter Salome Mulata, who is vividly capturing feminine experiences.
Okay.
Bethlehem Antene introduces us to the dynamic, interactive world of game painting. We explore an exciting sculpture garden with Tesfahun Kibru.
Sculpture garden.
Yes, I love those.
Nice.
And sculptor Adiskidan Ambaye shows us how she unlocks the magic of wood.
Okay, this is a new one for this series.
We see the streets of
Right.
Addis captured through the lens of Mahathir Haile Selassie. And legendary painter Taddese Mesfin shows us his latest works, inspired by the women in the markets of Addis.
So I just try to make some details,
Our DW Artsy Africa journey begins in East Addis Ababa. We visit the studio of painter Salome Mulata. In Ethiopia, only 1/3 of women are employed. Homes are female spaces, and Salome Mulata focuses her work on the inner lives of women. What do you want the audience to see when they see your painting? How do you want the audience to interact with it?
When I look at my work, I see myself. You would also see yourself in my painting. And when you do, you have moments of memory which your mind refers to. So, I want everyone to see themselves when they see my work.
In your paintings, I've noticed, especially when you're painting women, their faces are either blurred or cropped. Why do you choose to do that?
When I do a portrait, it is the face or the hand that I paint. I only focus on the part that I want to. I don't, as in photographs, worry about getting the eye right, fullness of the picture, proportion, and all that.
Who are these women?
Every woman, for example, if I do your portrait, I don't capture you in a literal way.
I love what you said
That's the
about
essence.
you emphasize on a certain aspect of the portraits that you paint. It would be an honor to be sketched by you.
Okay. She made her day with that one.
On the spot.
Right?
Okay, so far, her work reminds me of like 90s cartoons, right? When like before, we had all of these developments in technology that we do have today. Like when it was just like the outlines, or they'll just emphasize certain parts of the cartoon. Like
And it's not Oh, go ahead.
I
go
want
ahead.
to say like Ed, and Eddie,
Yo, yeah, that's a big
or
one.
Beavis and Butthead, like those. That's what it's reminded me of.
Yeah, and it's not just the technology of it; it's the idea of the art. A lot of times we hear art being, described and displayed about how they just thought of something, they drew it, or they saw it on the internet, so they copied it and put it on a paperwork. And it's like, yeah, I'm talented. But I feel like with these individuals and other ones that we watched as well, they come out with a more unique style to why they do what they do, and I love a good story.
Yes,
You get what
yes.
I'm saying? I love a good story. So to hear their story behind why they do what they do makes the art even more significant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm eager to see what she's gonna emphasize about her.
Because she did mention, just like a camera, there's some angles that are blurred out. You won't be able to catch it. She only focus on one part. So, yeah. Ready to see that? She got that charcoal.
Okay, I'm really, really curious. I want to see what you did. Ooh.
Okay, that's really accurate.
Nah, that's really accurate. Yeah.
Wow.
She did
Weren't
that
you
with the
able
colors.
to see it from there?
No, I couldn't tell what was happening. Wow.
You gotta have an eye
It's
for
me,
that.
but it's not me. You know what I mean? This is so cool. Can I keep it?
Oh.
Yes, she's gonna.
Let me sign
She's
it.
gotta sign it first.
She wrote the eyes out on this one. Look, that look like 10 out of 10.
We leave behind Salome Muleta and head west across Addis. And now I'm going to be showing you a woman that has been claiming her space in the sculpting world, Addis Kidan Ambay. Let's take a look. Addis Kidan Ambay is a sculptor who creates bold carved pieces that mirror the organic shapes found in nature. Frozen water, rocks, and skeletal structures
Frozen
are all
water is
captured
different.
in her work. Oh wow, what are we looking at? This looks very interesting.
Been working on concept, movement, and emotion. I had to do a lot of drawings because I have to understand how I'm going to put the pieces together, how I do the layers, because I work with layers to see it in different perspective, which way I should go, horizontal or vertical. So to determine that, I just have to do few sketches and see how I'm going to put the things together.
I'm very curious to see how this translates into the piece.
Let me show you how the process works. So this is a very interesting project that I'm doing right now, incorporating nature with manufactured wood. So very organic, old, and it kind of catched my attention. So it was like one big piece, so I had to cut it in pieces and then carve it a little bit and clean it up. The interesting part is you can see it's man-made wood or manufactured wood merged with the natural wood. So once it's finished, it's going to take a different position, which is like that, and then all these layers are going to be stuck together, and then I'll start carving it.
Yo, that's crazy.
What about this piece over here?
So this is not like you see one piece. It's all layered and carved and put together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It
That
just
is
look like one
incredible
piece.
because, when you see your pieces, what's the most striking thing about it is it looks like it's frozen in motion.
It does.
And it's like a water being poured but frozen.
Yeah.
Or something's happening, but it's kind of, just place paused.
Yeah.
Bro, and the fact that she did mention that she captured moments from nature,
Yeah.
that speaks volumes how this actually looked like a frozen image. That she just like kind of captured it, and she really made it look like how they look with the three-dimensional, the curvatures. Fire.
Yeah, it does. And art is a snapshot.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless if it's in song, dance, picture,
Yeah.
it's a snapshot. And I want to hear her background of all
Okay.
these things.
Yeah.
Because this is interesting.
So what I see when I look at it, them old lava lamps,
Okay, yes.
how they had that look on the side, and it looked frozen like that.
Other thing I wanted to ask you was the shadows, the dimension. How did that come
Yeah,
into
I
being?
usually torch it with the torch. I kind of like it. It's
Yeah.
almost like painting on a sculpture, and then do the shading and the giving it another shape,
That's hard.
giving it that dark and light reflection on it, gives it another shape, and I like kind of painting it with the torch.
What kind of emotions are you trying to
Came out
express?
really good.
It's kind of showing the freedom of a woman, kind of forces you to go around it, all the shapes and the darkness and the lightness and stuff. So, and I like it, you know, how it has
It does.
I'll purchase that.
color on it.
I'll purchase that, bro. That is hard.
It
That
does
is hard.
force you to go around
Mm-hmm.
to see what's on the other side. You know?
It's like it's a really good look.
Yeah.
Oh, let me get a play button going. There we go.
I want something physically to challenge me. And not only physically, I have to think how to put this thing together, the balance. And so that challenge kind of gives me a really great satisfaction.
It does look layered.
Addis Ambaye is the embodiment of a strong artist claiming her unique place as one of the few female woodcarvers in Ethiopia.
Bye.
To be in that studio, man. If you stand in that studio.
In the south of Addis Ababa, our DW Artsy Africa journey takes us to another sculptor. This time we are visiting the Demouchet creative space.
Oh, this is
All of the outdoor sculptures on display are the work of Tasfahun Kabru. He is a member of the Demouchet Creative Collective.
Okay, so I instantly thought Rasta, and
I
then
did
I
too.
remember
I did too.
the relationship between them in Jamaica. Okay, let's see what we got going on.
Tasfahun bends and welds sheets of metal and found materials to create his mythic creatures.
It's a person.
How do you
That's
decide
hard,
what to
yeah.
make? Is it you decide I'm going to make this and you choose the material, or is it the other way around?
Often I'm open-minded and start improvising. I start from something and that will guide me. And as it develops, my mind also tends to mature.
So I know this piece the most. It's my favorite and I'm very familiar with it. I just want to know about the technique that you use when building your pieces.
I use recycled materials. And when I start using the steel in the second round, I begin hammering to create the desired shape.
Your sculptures are part of an environment. They're pretty big. How do you feel about them changing over time because of the weather?
I work with steel because it can withstand the weather, based on the thickness or the thinness of the steel. The thin steel is highly likely to be damaged, but with the thick one, even with the rust itself, it is strong enough for me. That is one of the reasons I use it.
Having explored
And you know, just from an outsider looking in, I feel like even with it being damaged, well, not really damaged, but you know, affected by the weather and maybe rain and things like that, it kind of solidifies what it is. Like what we just saw, you know, the rust, it's adding to the art.
That is true. I mean, and that's why I feel like they name it the Garden of Art, if I'm not mistaken. They name it something like that.
Nature.
Outdoor of Nature or something like that. It just makes sense because it blends well with the weather conditions as well, because it amplifies the visual. It makes it look like where it's supposed to be. It makes it look that good, you know?
Right. And it kind of preserves it.
It does. Yeah, I feel like this is probably one of the toughest ones right now because he's using a lot of recycled pieces. And like he said, as he's going, his mind kind of helps him create the image that he wants, and he just, you know, build off of that one thought. So, yeah.
Tasfahun's alchemy with metal, we leave to meet a very different kind of creator.
That's creative.
Betaleem Antana is a game thinking designer and architect. She is using game thinking to find innovative ways to tackle Addis Ababa's social challenges.
Game thinking is actually basically the art and science of actually engaging people to go onto like this path of development of skill and mastery and so on, right? So like imagine using games as tools, right? It's basically you can just go on into so many different sectors and basically apply them.
33% of people in Addis are under the age of 29. This makes young people important players in solving our social challenges of unemployment and inadequate infrastructure. There are around 58 million mobile phone users in Ethiopia. So I have this app over here, and I know you worked on it, Enter Africa. Walk me through it. Bethlehem is a creator of Enter Africa. This app presents an opportunity for large-scale cross-country collaborations on the African continent when it comes to imagining better cities for those who live in them.
Imagine 15 countries, 200 plus people in Africa coming together to rethink about the future of their cities.
Right.
And thinking about the future is so important right now. And this project was aiming at not game designers specifically, but like citizens of different African cities, so that they can actually contribute into what they think the future of cities could look like. And that comes from a special background, special life that they've led, and they get to become the people who make decisions, who have a say in what actually happens in the bigger scale of cities. So it's like using games as a mode of communication, basically.
So I like that app because there's no room for excuses. You know what I'm saying? You out there, you want to work and network and get involved. This app literally helps with that, period. You don't got to look for no flyer, no nothing. This app will allow you to network with people who got the same mindset as you.
Right.
That's
And
good.
It's like Sims. You
Oh,
know,
Lord,
but your own city. I
Who
love
don't
it.
like Sims?
Exactly.
Oh,
Your own city.
not real talk. And you get to really like tune in on this type.
Instead of just talking, it allows you to interact into an experience. By immersing into that experience, you get to know what person is going through. And that's basically the huge story that keeps on going onto the future.
That's crazy. I love it. Leaving technology behind, we enter a more analog world. Now I am delighted to introduce you to Taddessa Mesfin, one of my country's most acclaimed painters. Let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's such an
How are
honor,
you?
such a privilege to be with you today.
I'm very happy to meet you.
Taddessa Mesfin did his fine art training at the St. Petersburg Art Academy in Russia. There, he was taught the style of Soviet social realism. Returning to Addis Ababa, Taddessa captured key events in Ethiopian history. That work over there looks very different from everything we see here. Would you tell me about it?
Okay. The story behind this painting is that it is the time that the Italians invaded Ethiopia.
Knew he was going there.
The second Italian occupation of Ethiopia took place from 1935 to 1941. This sparked international outrage and led to Ethiopia becoming a symbol of anti-colonialism and resistance against European imperialism.
They said nope.
And then what I want to show in this painting is that the people and the landscape. One Ethiopian is the roof of Africa. It is more mountainous, you know. It's very difficult to invade Ethiopia. So I wanted to show that the people and the terrain has kept their independence together. What I want to show this, as you see in the center, it is black against the white background. I wanted to show symbol of Africa, symbol of black freedom, you know. And then there is a light coming from the right side. It is hope and freedom, and something good is coming out of sacrifice. So this painting is actually my private collection. That is the
That's
story
hard.
of my painting.
And it's huge.
In recent times, Taddessa has shifted his focus from historic subject matter to capturing contemporary Ethiopian life. And in leaving his teaching position as the professor at the prestigious Ali School of Art and Design, Taddessa is now introducing foreign art lovers to his work. And I hear you have a show coming up
You know, my subject matter, I'm doing paintings on women. Women and who are selling goods in market areas, in the street. They are my heroes and I respect them. They are really very serious people. You know?
True, yeah.
They are hard workers. So I just want to make a homage for these women, you know.
Heard that.
Taddessa grew up near the busy Mercato market in Addis, and street market scenes have stayed with him.
But the idea is, you know, the market it is a place where you have all over all kinds of colors, all kinds of people, animals, things, everything is coming together, you know. So this is really very fascinating, especially African market, Ethiopian markets.
Absolutely.
And then you come to my current works, what I'm doing for the exhibition. My paintings are more or less based on silhouette with a yellow golden leaf background of the traditional Ethiopian art. And I want to represent sun because we are under equator, you know, we have, especially on their faces, I make...
There's harsh shadows under their lines.
Yes.
Right. You know what he doing?
Super
My
detailed.
interest
We by the
is
equator,
always
you know,
in
it's hot.
figurative
Right.
painting. As an artist, you have to be open.
Yeah.
There is no limit. There is only the limit might be the sky.
I leave Taddessa appreciating how after a career that has spanned more than 4 decades, he continues to push limits in how he portrays Ethiopian society today.
You can tell he's one of those artists who like literally sit down and just think.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know, because I'm an artist like that. Right? I don't do the painting, but I'm an artist. I
She
create
paint
art.
with words.
Right. Because he's so detailed, just the sun, like he thinks of all of the elements of life and he
Right.
put it in the painting. The big one that he did with the market, like just showing the background, the mountains.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
most people, well, I don't want to say most people, but some people would leave the mountains out of it and they would just have that focal point, you know?
The perspective of it is all about what you're trying to really show whenever you're putting all these pieces, you know, putting all the pieces together. Yeah, he do a really good job, especially with the colors. Like
Yeah.
he said, it's a
Oh.
colorful place, so he
Yeah.
definitely involves all the colors possible, which makes his artwork pops even more. You know,
Yeah, it looked like printed almost.
it does. I love the
Yeah.
balance. It's nice.
Best of luck. All right.
Have a nice time.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
As a photographer, I'm drawn to the energy of my city. Addis is always new. You turn around in one corner, there's something happening, and it catches your eye. The skyline of Addis is dominated by construction cranes as people flock from the rural areas to find work. During the scramble for Africa, Ethiopia was one of the only 2 African countries to retain its independence. Its political history is complex and multifaceted, marked by periods of monarchy, military dictatorship, and our painful legacy also includes genocide, famine, and civil war. In recent times, we are trying to heal this through democratic dialogue. I want to play my part in creating a new Addis, and for me, that is about telling stories of my city. So you're here at my studio, and as you can see here, some of my prints are hanging. These are some shots from the busiest marketplace in Addis. It's called Mercato. It's really hectic. It's really hard to take pictures, but that's one of my favorite places to shoot. And I love learning about people's stories. One of my favorite projects is this book, Vintage Addis Ababa. We worked on this project for about 3 years with my colleagues Philip Schutz and Wangela Bebe. With the Vintage Addis Ababa project, my colleagues and I crowdsourced photographs from ordinary people who had great stories to tell from living memory. These were personal stories of
Right.
hope, resilience, laughter, pride, and curiosity. And it's been such an honor working on it because I got to learn a lot of stories of people that lived in the era that was considered dark in history, because all we knew was people were fleeing the country and dying of hunger and genocide was happening. But through this book, I got to learn the history of my people who were enjoying life, going to cinema, getting married, having children, falling in love, all these beautiful things. And it was such an honor to be a part of it because it felt like I did something to my community. We all felt like we did something to give back.
Man, no lie. Even though history has this dark side to it, there's always something that you still want to ask yourself. Where was the light in all of this?
Right.
What would everybody up to? What were they doing whenever they had the opportunity to do something? So I'm glad she was able to come across this because it just enhances how she knows and how she thinks about Ethiopia, you know?
Because I feel like when we're learning about history, especially in school settings, we're learning the history through like an abstract lens of just the subject matter. We're not really learning the personal stories, the ordinary stories, because they're not going to tell us the ordinary stories. They're just going to tell us, you know, the highs, the real highs and the real lows of the subject matter. You know, like for instance, for us, it'll be the civil rights movement. Well, we would learn about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, but what about the grandmother who fed everybody?
Yeah.
Because the children couldn't catch the bus to go to this side, or the children had to wake up early, so the uncle walked the children to school. Like, what about those ordinary stories? How were the people resilient?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so them stories definitely, we try to take a deep dive like that in class, but the teacher will probably be like, no, we can't go that way with it because we got to talk about this next topic.
Exactly.
And then if you want to, you can go after class, you know, school, whatnot, but even then I feel like it's just the knowledge of knowing and having to have that person actually open up to talk about it. Because sometimes they really just be in there to teach you what they got and then go home. So that's how it be.
So stories like this matter.
Yeah, and another thing, I know we're living in a social media age, but still get the memory books, man. Put them pictures in the memory books, because what if all that stuff just for some odd reason go away? They're going to want to know eventually what happened, you know what I'm saying? So also still, memory books. Remember after college and high school and whatnot, have the memory book? Yeah, got to stick to that.
Heading south, our DW Artsy Africa experience now takes us to an unusual collection of photographs. We're visiting the gallery space of photographer Mahader Haile Selassie. She has more than a decade of experience as a documentary photographer, and she has mentored me on my own photographic journey.
What I'm trying to do is find a different form of visual language to express a person. You know how the visual representation of Africa and African people have always been this really simplistic portraits. So I wanted to go a little bit further and to divert a little bit from that narration and find a new medium of telling a person's identity.
In the tradition of ethnographic photography in Ethiopia and Africa as a whole, portrait photographs would usually depict people in a simplistic manner, facing forward, posing formally for the camera. In creating her body of work called The Walls, Mahader would knock on the doors of ordinary people and ask to enter their homes to photograph their walls. In this way, these domestic interiors have come to represent people's identities.
One thing that's very common is I find portraits that are hanging on the wall. So it's not really a portrait of a person, but it's a photograph of a photograph within a different setting. I would like them to understand that this is a very complex person and this is a very complex country. It's not very simple.
I loved when you talked about how as Africans we're photographing. Portraits are the prominent images that we see, and photographing in these spaces, that's why I looked up to you, because you have a different take, different perspective.
We could definitely relate with this.
100%.
I feel like growing up in the 90s, it was like the epitome of African American culture. Because on our walls, we had the fans. I don't know why they was obsessed with these fans.
Yeah.
You could go to your grandmother's house, your auntie house, the family friend. Everybody had a fan. Everybody had the broom that they jumped the broom on their wedding day on their walls. They had these everybody had this picture, like it was a portrait of them in this wooden throne, and they just look so regal and just so I don't know, like just excellence.
Like, do people really pay attention to the walls? Like when they walk into people's homes.
Oh, definitely. We start talking, huh?
Yeah, I mean that helps you get a real understanding of who you're talking to, like meeting a person. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ask about a picture on the wall, you instantly get a timeline or a story. You know, and I love a good story.
Yes.
Anything that happened within that time, they're going to break it down to you, and that's a good old drinking, chill moment right there. And then, like she mentions, it definitely shows a person's I guess you can call it identity, right? It gives it more of an identity because their memories are surrounding them every single day.
Yeah, because they're gonna put things that mean the most to them on their walls.
Exactly.
They're not gonna put things that don't mean anything.
Exactly.
So that's nice that she took a different approach.
Yes.
Capturing the people's walls. That tells a story by itself. That is art.
It just makes this, so all of this makes me think about the times when we was outside.
Okay.
As kids.
With the
you know
water
what I'm saying?
hose.
Right. Had them razor phones, had a little more flash too. I feel like we'd have had a whole bunch of moments captured.
Yes, we surely would have.
Because we did a lot of stuff outside.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Mahadir's photographic journeys have also taken her into a rural, mountainous region that lies in central Ethiopia and is filled with ancient culture. She looked at the engravings of old colonial travelers and then visited the same places today and superimposed her contemporary photos over the engravings.
That's tough.
In this way,
I like that.
Mahadir has created a visual connection across time.
Yeah, so this is part of a body of work titled Between Yesterday and Tomorrow. So Showa was a political and economical center in the 19th century.
Showa was
Hold on, bro. First of all, I gotta understand what she's saying here. Like, this lady been doing this for over a decade. Her mindset when it comes to really, like, growing into her crafts, knocking on people's doors to take a picture of their wall.
Yes.
Like, that's different. And then taking a moment in history and then revisiting it with the new scale version of whatever's happening around that time and matching the pictures together. That's
art.
Mindset is wild right now to think like that. That's tough.
And it's the simplest things, but it is art.
It's big ones.
Yeah. With a lot of
seat of Emperor
Exactly.
Menelik II. He was a national hero for preventing Italy's first attempt at conquering Ethiopia in 1896. Ethiopia's rugged mountainous terrain gave his army an advantage.
Landscapes have always been a very important aspect of Ethiopian history.
That's true.
So for me, it was really interesting.
Tell me about what you're working on now.
So I'm photographing the city that I was born in, Addis Ababa, and how it's changing, the process of change.
Great. So let's go out and take some pictures.
It's getting personal. I like that.
Look that way. What is that even? Taking photos with Mahadir out on the streets, I'm aware of how we as modern women of Addis have a new liberty to express ourselves using photography in a way that previous generations of women and our families did not. We speak with the digital voice claiming our freedom. Nice. I thought it would be fun to bring you to Fendika, a much adored jazz club in Addis. It also happens to be where my photography collective meets. I am a member of the group called the Center for Photography in Ethiopia. Each week, we meet to look at each other's pictures. This collaborative spirit sums up the creative scene in Addis Ababa today. With every work of art and every photograph, we each get to tell a new story about our country. This freedom is valuable to us. And while our conversations continue into the night, the people of Addis party. What a wonderful journey it's been. I hope you enjoyed DW's Artsy Africa.
Yeah, we're going to stop with that. Make sure you guys check her channel out. Definitely was dope. And yeah, they definitely got their own news team, I heard. So if y'all in the area and y'all need any type of, photos of moments of memories, y'all got people like this in the area that's just thriving and killing it. So, you know what I'm saying? I like that.
Yes, and oftentimes we don't think enough to capture today. Like, yeah, a lot of us capture our family and things like that that's going on, especially vloggers, you know. But what about capturing our city, our
Yeah.
culture, our art scenes,
Yep, yep.
music, dance, all of these things, right, that goes on? We have to capture it because if not, who?
Right.
Our grandchildren gonna be like, "What was life like in 2025?" And nobody gonna have anything to say,
They're gonna be
anything
looking
to show.
on. They're gonna be looking on reels, trying to find out
Right.
how it was, what type of time was it. I feel like pictures are just that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're living moments that can live forever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a memory.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right, y'all. We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.